Good morning, everyone. So, new all-time highs. Sorry, I missed the excitement yesterday. Good morning, everyone. Wait a second there. So, uh, okay. All right. So, what now? Well, it's supposed to go up more. We had let's call it a month and a half of consolidation, and S&P's breaking above the highs there. Something like this typically goes into acceleration mode. It certainly, I got major support down here, but these two retests, there are no pivots on it, but that would be a significant support area that doesn't have one, two, three. Oh, I guess this bar's got it. The new bar is going to start and it's going to mark this as a pivot. So our major support will come up under there. And we got other congestion right below that. So there's a significant support area down below because of the length of this consolidation. So clearly it would be a significant break. It wouldn't just be a break under, let's just call it over here, this bullish 180. If prices had come down under that and you just got a V bottom type of scenario there, be more like breaking this area where you got this same long consolidation. So when I say this should accelerate higher, it's similar to this situation. And it went sideways in a range, up and down for about a month and a half or so. And it broke out, is at new all-time highs. So it should just continue to move higher. We'll see if it does that. See they're gapping up here a little bit. I'm eyeballing that. Not quite half of yesterday's range. Maybe it was at the high, probably was. So it's stalled here, about half of the range there, 523. SPX. Again, like yesterday, they bid it up so much. I said this is like a no-brainer that it's not going to go there. So things have come off a little bit. So I've got 90. The enough premium is at 85. But if it blips up a little bit, you probably still can do 90. If not, you're going to have to move down to 85. So it's here, down below. So what should happen now, right? Just basic stuff. What was resistance should become support. It's gapping up. Let's say it's about here. If prices come down into here, especially near 5,200, it should be buyable. Pretty basic. We'll see what the futures are forming. Transports broke out, new all-time high. Should keep going higher, 40,000. We'll see if it does that. Yeah, again, after the consolidation, you can see it on the weekly time frame, how significant it is that any move under here, you wouldn't need any protractors or Ichikumi clouds to know something's wrong. It spent over a month going nowhere. Should have no problem considering to go higher. Let's look at ETF, transports. We could look at the ETF. Yesterday, we talked about it being on the 200 and major support. Of course, the news helped. It rallied off of that and into congestion. Maybe goes a little bit higher to the top of that little inside range. Interest rates. We talked about them being here and they should move lower. That certainly helped the markets, whatever. The Fed chair had to say there, but you see the beginning slide. I said it ignores It ignores the inflation. I just heard some of his comments after the fact. I wasn't here, but um, they're not ignoring it. But they're still going to plan on 3 rate cuts. We'll see. Um, Coming down to these converging 20 and 50 MA, we'll see if they hold there. Typically, that's what this pattern would do. Strength move up, not even a 50% pullback. Somewhere in here, it should try to make the turn to move up. This is something that we'll be looking for that will give us a little tell. If it starts moving back up again, the market will digest yesterday just based on what he had to say. If they start moving right back up again, the market's evaluating that and probably thinking, oh, transitory again. We know what happened the last time. If it falls back down here, that would be a plus. But we'll see if that's what happens. As far as the dollar took a nasty drop. That was at resistance, and that came down hard, which sent gold higher. So we start thinking about inflation and is it transitory? Well, we look at the markets to see what the markets are going to tell us about that. Transitory with irrational exuberance. Well, yeah, and so look, the markets. We call it the markets. We call it just call it people, call it institutions, call it whatever. It's just a greed, fear right now, greed driven evil, SOB. All right. It will walk over your dying body for $1. So irrational, yes, it gets irrational, and it'll go too far, and the result will be the same as it always is. It'll come down harder than it should have. So as we look at these things and we see gasoline, breaking out and it's going to go higher, why would he believe it's transitory? Well, he could be right. And he could be right. He wasn't right the last time. And then he had to, accelerate increasing interest rates faster than they normally would have. And so that would be the risk going forward if he's wrong, because rather than 3 cuts, he'll have to stay pat or increase. That'll be what else can he do? We see oil, talked about that. It broke out. It's down a little bit here this morning, not a big deal, but that looks like it's going to go higher. Agriculture products. I mean, look at that. And it's gapping up today. That points toward inflation. So he's looking at something else. Maybe he's looking at Biden's ugly face saying, you better, son of a bitch, because if I get elected, where I'm not, you're going to be in trouble. Who knows? You got to do your part for the team. So we'll see. Silver, you can see, is up here. It's come off a little bit, but that's, it's getting closer to resistance. Price of copper, it's off a little bit, but that broke out. It looks like it's going to go higher. You see that weekly chart get up toward resistance. Crude oil down a little bit here, pulling back. What was resistance should become support. We'll see. Gold, it's like inflation. Oh yeah, right. Breaking out, pushing up to new all-time highs. So that looks higher. And the good part is, well, we'll see what the NASDAQ does here. It's up at this prior pivot high. It's definitely going to be something to see it, to keep an eye on, to see if it continues to push up. Again, it was in consolidation mode for a month or a half a month, whatever. It's been doing nothing for a long time, just a lot of whip up and down, whip up and down. So it should pick up some upward momentum here after that. S&Ps, obviously, momentum picked up a little from yesterday. Right now the range is smaller. What's the hesitation here? Oh, maybe just it moved a little too fast and, for one day, and it might need to rest a little bit. Why it would need to rest? It really shouldn't need to rest. It's been resting for a while. Let's do it, up to 5,400. Kind of like one of the ways of measured moves is to look at this and, kind of arbitrary, of course, subjective, but I've seen it work, flip it up as a target, but that's the next whole number. So that's where you would think it would go. Just looking at open interest in the S&Ps, and it's above 5,200 here. So, and it's interesting that they haven't been bidding that up further, but zero DTEs right away. I guess they just the way it is, they bid it up a lot, and it's unlikely it's going to go up there today. Our target yesterday, or where it shouldn't go, it didn't get there, even as large as the move had. So it makes sense to take smaller money and be safe. The Russell moved up. It had been pulling back, a little messy, coming up into resistance. IWM, got the resistance there. It was, coming off the highs a little bit. We talked about this head and shoulders top, and it held at support. So now we'll see how it deals with this resistance area. Just look step to step. SMHs, I like that. Nice little turn there. It's gapping up quite a bit. All right, that's what happens when you're not here. Okay, so where's it gapping up, coming up to those pivot highs there? Little hesitancy there. Just looking at some of these ETFs coming up to resistance. Yesterday and the last few days, we talked about retail looking good. So these patterns like this they're in uptrends, and they take and form multiple bars like that. They just tend to be really good setups because as it forms those bars, and we talked about this at MT Live yesterday, things that gap down and they come right back up again. You can see the close there, and it gaps down and it comes right back up again, and red bar is ignored. As uptrend, that's a plus. Minor support area, that's a plus. Rounding bottom, 3 or more bars in that area, that's a plus. Ideally, it would have more distance to this pivot. That would be another plus, but the pattern suggests it should go through it. So another thing to watch, it should go through it. Someone in the room mentioned mid caps, pullback, a little sloppy kind of pullback. Consolidation, is it gapping above the highs? No, but it's not as active, but it should go higher. And Bitcoin, we're not doing too much, actually. It's done enough, I suppose, from 25,000, over that period of time up to here. So doing a little resting, but still looks good. Ethereum pulled back a whole heck of a lot. And, that's gapping up. It had 2 days here, right on that 50 MA. And this pivot, we reviewed that yesterday. Financials, of course, they were grinding higher. They really didn't blink during any of that corrective process. They were grinding higher. That was a plus. We talked about that numerous times. That's gapping up. So it seems the world is perfect as for the stock market. The transports, this is that other ETF that has more stocks in it. That's playing catch up. And we already looked at the transports there, but yeah, if these can get through the top of those highs, everything will be firing on all cylinders. And then from there, if it's really transitory, nothing's going to stop here as far as interest rates focus in the Fed. So as we get day to day into economic data, and we get into next week, and we again hear about whatever the flavor of the day may be, the markets will jiggle around based on that. So we'll see. Well, Dan, that's always the way it is. Sometimes we get sick of the market going down relentlessly and cutting through support. And sometimes, believe it or not, we get sick of it. It's relentless move to the upside. But hey, it kind of makes you think, what's so great? It's just liquidity. The liquidity is there. Um, I read in the journal last night, and I come home catching up a little bit, and talking about Biden having so much more money for this campaign than Trump does. And of course, the news about Trump and this illegal situation as far as persecution, political using politics and the law as a weapon. But who's giving him all this money? Nobody that thinks he's got half of a brain left or that things are good. But the people that have all that kind of money don't want things to change because, hey, the markets are going up. They're making money. And so if the day after, if he wins, if Kamala Harris becomes the president and things go from bad to worse, they don't care. Just like what real estate was. Everybody, they all knew what was going on. They knew that the day of reckoning was going to come, but they don't care. That's the way things are. So we don't ignore the warning signs. We'll take advantage as much as we do or can as things are doing well. And hey, when the bad times come, we'll run for cover. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, the futures. I'm posting something here. 1 second. But we had a beautiful 5 minute 180 reversal, just like we talked about yesterday. Hold on, I'm switching this. And we started getting bullish in the green room yesterday. We posted a couple trades. I have a whole list of big ones, and it's always a judgment call. We had a long discussion. Somebody was asking, all right, as we do every day, all right, Dan, what's your bias for today on the gap up? And I said, well, but for the digestion of the news overnight, I said, taking that aside, this is 100% bullish. They ignored it going into it, and that's a beautiful controlled bar. No tails, closing at the high. Yes, extended a little on the 15. So we have a big. I think I have 5 longs posted here, but that's the gap up's going to make it more difficult. So I'm not chasing things. Like even Ether, Greg mentioned, I posted that to buy yesterday's high, but the gap's too big. So let me tell them to hold off. I know Aichi mentioned AMAT. And again, another one, the gap's messing it up. So I posted a couple here. This was on my list yesterday. I said that's good to go. The only reason I didn't do it yesterday is I wanted to see follow through to get through the digestion of the thing. I did give target here. It was just beautiful daily 15-minute breakout. That was beautiful. So we're in that. I gave Netflix put spread, and that looks like a directional also. Shop I just posted, but let's wait for a pullback. I know Sam, you like this RCL, but that's a big old bar. I'm personally not chasing that, but what do? I look at the cousins and look at daily, weekly, monthly. So this one is more of a catch-up trade. So as a new trade, I like this one better. Big old bull rectangle, daily, weekly. Well, that's not what we call it, a weekly or rectangle. Well, it's not a 1, 2, 3. All right, stole alarm went off. Let's see this print right here at 144. So I said, let's see if you can sell it pre-market, and then we'll just, we're in it at 138. We have a nice gain, and we'll watch on a pullback. Lift alarm, we got a core long in this. Up alarm went off. Gold, we're in this, and the ETF trader. My up alarm went off. Yesterday, I moved up to yesterday's low because of that WRV. All right, let's go to earnings now. We did one earnings trade, MU. We did a condor. I'm way out of the money put spread, which is totally fine. And we're taking heat on the call side. We shorted the 109s. So it's gapping over that. And, we only did $3. We did $3 wide, took in 74 cents. So even at max loss, I'm not saying I'll be happy with it, but it's not a disaster because we took in so much premium. But I don't think we're going to be near max loss. So my intent is to hopefully get a nice pullback. Because just look at the daily. Imagine 112. I was like, what? Top of this range is 102. And it's gapping $10 higher than this horizontal line. So that's a monster gap, which is fueling, the sector. NVIDIA is a continuation pattern now, gapping up. So that's a put spread idea and a strong uptrend. All right, back to earnings. Chewy was all over the place yesterday. It's a dog. I don't see anything to do with that. LACC. This is a beautiful 180 downside shakeout, and it's opening flat. The only thing I don't like is there's no price for it. Look at all these overlapping bars to the left. So that's the problem with that one. LX gapping down, dog. GES is a retailer gapping up too much. All right, fives. I have in this middle chart. I'm just calling this the excessive gap. Let's see what it does. Look at it gapping over here to these prior low. It's a nasty gap, but let's see where buyers step up. Shoot, what was the one yesterday that had a nasty gap? Oh, Boeing. Well, not a nasty gap. I take that back, but it was a gap negated on bearish news. So that's a perfect example of how to trade news with the charts. Wouldn't go down on bad news. Yeah, Lily looks great. Absolutely. Thank you. That is a tier 1 beautiful new setup. I like it a lot. Gap up from a bottoming pattern at the 2050 with a bull 1, 2, 3. Now I'd prefer the 15 not to be extended, but stock don't care about me. And it has a big void. I think target 485, which is $10. Let's just see if we can get a better entry. Oh, is it after the bell, Patrick? Because I did not see the pre-market, or is it pre-market earning? After, I know, but after the bell. All right, thanks. Microsoft, it's gapping up, 100% retracement after 4 bars up. Roberto, I have, it's bullish 15. It's just not a pattern to enter as a swing. It is bullish though, daily, weekly, monthly 15. They're all bullish, but bullish does not equate with, hit the buy button. All right, where am I? SCS. Yeah, with the Q's, Q spiders breaking out here too. All right, SCS gapping down, nothing to do there. EPAC. This was a nice 1, 2, 3. Kind of opening flat, but it's up 4 bars. We'll come back to it. Sarah, no interest. WOR. I'm going to set an alarm at 64.40. If this takes out yesterday's high, I like it. I don't see any prints. So we'll just wait and see if the alarm goes off. Cap. Bottoming pattern. All right, ACN is also getting whacked. All right, it is gapping this prior low. Let's see if this doesn't hold it as a bigger void. So at least 5 FIVE is closer to support, major support. DRI 165. Well, it's gapping to the 50, but see it it's still there's no good support. I would like this one better if it were gapping to 162. So, but we'll watch them both. FDS, no print. Come back to you. CMC gapping up, but I'd be selling in the strength. ASO. Oh, that just tanked. 60. Okay, so another one getting whacked. We'll come back to that. This one I was thinking of selling a put on, but there was no good juice and no weeklies. This is a beautiful multi-week turn. But in terms of a new trade, my target would be this 68 gap fill, so no interest. 68, I just printed it. There's my target. All right, Lucent gapping up. No pattern. Shoe Carnival, $32. No pattern. EXAI, no pattern. NMDM gapping up, but kind of a penny stock, no interest. Yard, nothing. Sandal marijuana stock, but no pattern. All right, I got a ton of alarms going off here. Man, GAMB. Nice big old gap there, but nothing to do with it. And see nothing. Lunar. All right, this one I posted as a long, and I actually bought a $7 call yesterday as an earnings trade, and I was hoping obviously for a bigger gap, so that's going nowhere. All right, let me go through all my alarms like I always do. But if this can get over that prior tail, it's a nice bottoming pattern here at the 5,200. All right, see MU bottom right coming in a little bit. And that's exactly what I want. DXLG, no pattern. All right, done with that. Let's look at alarms. Netflix looks great. That looks like a directional too. Stop. I would stop out of half yesterday and the other half, what's today, Thursday, Tuesday's low. So Netflix, let's move stop break even. NOTV alarm. We're long either calls or stock, I forget. Just set a new up alarm at 10. SMG alarm. Nice, we're short naked puts. I'll set new alarm. 72, 69. All right, our MU, the call side is $1.32. So that's less than 1-to-1 loss. So see, we're nowhere near max loss. So I'm going to keep a tight leash on this. $16. Lift up alarm. Let's have a discussion. All right, I just closed some at 120. Let's have a discussion on this. I got an email last night from somebody, a subscriber, that he said, "Hey, I have a friend who's buying the stock as a hedge to a short call." And I said, "Dude, I respectfully 100% disagree with you." Well, I didn't say dude, but you know what I mean. And we'll talk about all the reasons why. All right, it's 120 right now. Let's bid $1. All right. Okay. Treating cores like that. I don't think you're talking to me. All right, Bally up alarm. All right, so that triggered. That was a Sam I am trade. That's a good hit. All right, that's beautiful, Sam. That is a beautiful buy setup, sir. All right, we're out. It was midpoint $1.04. All right, good job. Well, I mean, it could end up being a full profit, but do you feel like do you want to be in this white knuckle ride or minimize our loss to 30 cents? That's what our loss is with that big gap against us, Greg. 30 cents. It's no disaster. Take that all day long. Still going through alerts here. Lunar up alarm hitting. Let's see where my call option is. I have that $7 call. $7 call for next week. I'm break even. All right, so it's going absolutely nowhere. BBY alarm. Uh, Greg, this is your style. Red bar ignored continuation. You like it?
But today's bar's not done.
So what? It's over yesterday's high is the entry. It's a red bar ignored breakout. So what does today's bar have anything to do with it? The trigger is yesterday's high.
You can put it out there if you want.
But I'm also not being a pain. I sometimes get mixed answers of your rule of it's triggered versus wait till the end of the day. But
Well,
the
there's no setup. If you want to buy it above a high of a red bar, that's fine. Go ahead.
right, it's a 1, 2, 3 red bar ignored bottoming pattern at the 20. That's exactly right, exactly what it is. All right, I don't need move anymore. So let's put PVY here. Or IIPR alarm. Nice, nice. I sat on this one for a while, but remember, daily, weekly, monthly are all in beautiful alignments. Finally, this guy got going. All right, still going through alerts. Still, I don't know if we got filled at the 144 pre-market or not. So let's just move stop days low now. About 142.38. Oh man, let's say the gap messed us up on this one. This was a beautiful breakout candidate. And I was so tempted to give it into the close because I was bullish, but it's a judgment. Just wanted to wait for follow through. Right, postage on a pullback. McGee, Charlie McGee. That's this guy's company. Remember that song, Alex? Charlie McGee. This is good to go over yesterday's high. All right, shop was a gap and go. Open 81.66. Yeah, that's almost right. I'm still going through alarms here. Netflix, we move stuff, break even. NCLH. All right, that looks good. Mara is fine.